Hey guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. The year of watt meter begins today. So we're joined by Zane at Big Rig Radio today. He come up to see me and he brought by several watt meters for us to look at. So the first one that we're going to look at is which model, Zane?
It's a Bird 4381.
Yeah. It's a digital meter. I don't have a lot of experience with these. There's one of these that's in town that's owned by a guy, and I'm pretty sure it's broken after playing with this one. And never had any success with making his meter work right. And the reason I'm showing you this is because we got a 1,000 watt slug. If you'd focus, come on. Come on, there we go. We got a 1,000 watt slug here, and this is our forward position. We don't have a choice. We can't change the orientation, so I'm not a big fan of that. This is our refleg. Now, from what I understand, we have to have the same integer of each other, right? So we have to have 1,000, and it makes sense now that we understand what this switch does.
Yeah, they have to be 10% of each other.
Yeah, they have to be 10% of each other. So we've got 1,000 in forward and a 10 watt slug in reverse, okay?
100.
100, you're right, yeah, 100. Now over here, on the 43 in the background, we've got a 1,000 watt slug in the forward position. Now please note on the 43 that we've got three different integers of scale, the 100, the 50, and the 25, okay? Well, down here on the Bird 4381, or 8i, and I believe that's an I if I'm not mistaken, or 1, whatever.
Who's counting?
We have this switch here, which is 10, 5, and 25, or 2.5. This switch, all this does is we're going to move our decimal point in our display window, which would come in really handy if you're trying to use like a 5 watt slug and you need exactly 4.25 watts. We'll cover that in a minute. On the keypad here, we've got CW in forward, reflex CW, SWR is a unit of measure, percentage of modulation, reflected power and peak envelope power, forward power and peak envelope power, forward dBm, reflect dBm, and then of course that says return loss. So let's go ahead and we'll run it through our paces. Now you guys are all familiar with looking at the Bird 43. So let's turn on our make more watts in the little device. Come on, fan, turn on. There we go. Hello. Hello. About 700 watts, give or take, okay? We're looking at this bottom scale. 700 watts, give or take. So we got our 1,000 watt element. We've got it reading in the 10 position, which would be the bottom scale on the Bird 43, and we're reading 100% of that 10 position. Hello. Hello. 723 watts. It's really simple, you guys. And we're going to show you reflected power and peak. Hello. 1.3 watts in reflect. Forward power in CW. Hello. Reflect power in CW. Hello. 0.2. Or overall unit of measure of SWR. Hello. 1.01 or 1.000. Forward dBm. Hello. Audio. Reflect dBm. Hello. Nothing, of course. and then our return loss. Hello. So, forward power. Now what I mean by the switches corresponding to the units of measure of scale, check this out. Actually, to make this work, I'm going to slide this up a little bit. So, right now we're reading this bottom scale. From 0 through 100, adding a 0, right? Audio. We see how those digits match up. We're going to click this up to 5. Now, we're going to change our scale position to the 50 out of 0. For reading this middle scale, according to here, we're putting out 355 watts. That makes sense? Now we're going to go up to our 2.5, or otherwise our 25 watt scale. 181 on the top scale. I just feel that this is very limiting, Zane. I mean, it really is. You'd have to have, like you were saying, at least 3 different forward elements and 3 different reflect elements. You need a 10, 100, 1,000. But then you'd need a 5,000, a 500, and a 50. So you'd need a 25,000, a 250, and a 25.
You'd have to add zeros to the end too, because
Yeah.
it only goes up to 1,000 watts.
Yeah.
So if you put 10,000 watt slug in there, you have to have 1,000 watt for reflect,
Right.
and you'll have to add a 0 to the meter.
Yeah. This slide. Check this out. Oh, here. Let me turn on the way turn out more power device here. Wait for our fan, which is digitally operated, by the way. Here it goes. Full face value on the 100 meter movement. 1,000 watts. That's cute. The thing is, it doesn't show you anything more than 100% modulation. Because 99 is the absolute max we'll get it to ever read. So here, we'll play with it. Let's see here. Mic gain. One, two, one, two, one, two. Maybe that might be where the min and the max scale comes in. I don't know about you. Maybe we should go download a manual.
Maybe.
Let's go look at a manual. We'll be right back. I'm glad they didn't make this for a 3-year-old to figure out, Zane.
Below
Measuring
400%.
multi-purpose through-line watt meter RF power analyzation mode, page number 11. Measuring amplitude modulation. Ready? I'm going to read this to you as it is written in the manual, you guys. Only a forward element is required for this mode. Point the element in the direction of the forward power and press the modulation, period. Modulation is displayed directly in percent. Provide the average signal is above 10% and the PEP of signal is below 400% of the element's normal full scale. So we have to have a 10,000 watt slug in this to read in the 1,000 watt range for it to accurate. That's what I'm taking from this. I'm not dicking with that. For specified accuracy above CW power levels must be greater than 1/3 of full scale modulation is critical as follows. And it gives us a little diagram explaining that modulation equals peak power over peak power minus minimum power divided by plus peak power over point modulation. So that means divided by maximum power, or minimum power, times 100%. And therefore is limited to the range of 0 to 99.9%. Overmodulation will be indicated as 99%. Refer to Table 3. So let's look at Table 3. CW peak, 1 watt, modulation equals 0%, peak power of 2.4% equals 55% modulation. That's a neat chart. That's math, baby. That's absolute law, man. Okay, so CW peak of 2.10 watts is 45% modulation, but then in a peak mode reading of 4 watts, that's 100% modulation. Because of the threshold of the RF diode, a modulated signal which has a minimum power level below 0.03% of full scale will result in a high modulation reading with uncertain accuracy. Figure number 10, showing the D-pad that you have to hit. Everybody got that? Everybody got that? Hello? No, hold on. Hello? There we go.
It's an overmodulated splatter box.
It's an overmodulated splatter box. Shit! Alright, let's turn down our mic gain here. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. Boy, they're right. That's a tricky little window to get into with the diode in that. So without having a tone generator running into the radio and a controlled signal pattern, like an injected source,
Right.
that we could
Like
actually
1,000 hertz tone.
like a 1,000 hertz tone, that we could actually. Come on, man! I want my triple windowed dozy that's got a little modulation meter. I don't want it to be that easy in a scientific measure device. Come on. Long and short is, I don't have the equipment to make this run in the modulation mode accurately, so we're not going to mess with it any further. You and I both know as soon as we open that case and start adding wires and switches and different couplers to it, everybody's going to totally ignore any kind of data that comes off of it.
Right, exactly.
Hence the reason that I went with the setup that I've currently got, because there's no, you can't debate it. I mean, people have tried for a decade now, and you can't really argue it. It is a Bird 43 with a commercially accepted peak kit in it. Or this thing, it's all full of pots and potentiometers and shit. I don't know if I'd really want to bring that in on my workbench or not. I don't know. It's a neat unit. Oh, while we're at it, let me thoroughly put this one to bed, because this is what I've heard for decades now, it seems like. This digital meter is exactly the same as the quote, and a quote, Dave made digital watt meter. It is not. Here, let me show you. It's pretty simple. We put that one to bed, didn't we? Okay, so that rumor's out of the way. So guess what's up next? That's right, boys and girls. The Dave made digital watt meter. Anyhow, guys, this is the RF Power Analyzer by Bird. Model, and we know this for sure now, 4381, and this is from the 70s, early 80s. I think the current model is 991, so it'd be the 4391. So, hey man, thanks for bringing this up and let me do a quick video on it.
Yeah, no problem. What's cool though is it matches the 43.
Yeah. It's the one that, yeah. Remember guys, this 43 here, everybody and their brother says I go in and I play with the scroobies on the inside. Obviously not. We're going to put that one to rest because we're going to test my meter against a bunch of other shit here pretty quick. All right, on that note, I got to run. Gentlemen, my name is BBI. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check us out, www.vbiamps.com. Come find me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and right here on the YouTube Gargler. If this is your first time watching, and click subscribe. Make sure to hit the little bell. And thank you, Zane at Big Rig Radio.
Anytime, bro.
I appreciate you letting me use your little watt meter. I'll see you guys. Bye.